Have you ever looked around and noticed your circle getting smaller and wonder if that means something's wrong with you? It's a quiet moment. Maybe you're sitting at the kitchen table, sipping your morning tea, and suddenly realize you don't get as many calls as you used to. There aren't as many invitations. Some people have drifted, some are gone, and some you've chosen to let go. It's not something we talk about enough. But today we will, because after 70, you don't need many friends to feel whole. What you need, what we all need, is meaningful connection, and that often means fewer friends, but deeper roots. Let's explore the quiet power of that truth, one step at a time. 1. Fewer friends, deeper connections. Why depth now matters more than ever. In your younger years, life often feels like a dance of popularity, parties, and people. But after 70, the music changes, and you begin to crave stillness, authenticity, honesty. Take Margaret. She's 74, living in North Carolina, and she used to be what you call the life of the party. Every week was full. Bridge nights, volunteer shifts, church socials, luncheons. But she started to notice something. She felt emotionally tired, not because she didn't like people, but because most conversations stayed at the surface. No one asked how she was coping with her son's divorce. No one talked about the fear of getting older. No one sat with her long enough to go past, "How are you?" So she slowly stepped back. Now, Margaret spends her mornings with Carol, her longtime friend and neighbor. They don't meet to impress each other. They meet to be present. Sometimes they sit silently and sip tea. Sometimes they cry. Sometimes they laugh about old memories. And you know what? Margaret says those moments feel more nourishing than any packed social calendar ever did. At this age, you don't need people who say a lot. You need people who say the things that matter. 2. The invisible weight of too many. Why large circles can drain you. Keeping up appearances. Hosting. Calling. Remembering birthdays. Being on. For years, you did it without question. But now, does it still serve you? Or does it just exhaust you? Think about the time and emotional labor it takes to maintain a wide network. Even if it looks fun on the outside, the cost often shows up inside. Anxiety, pressure, feeling obligated, especially if those friendships have stopped being reciprocal. John, now 76, was always the organizer. If there was a reunion, a dinner, a group trip, he planned it. He followed up. But as time passed, he noticed something painful. If he stopped calling, no one called him. He felt used in a quiet way. So he made a decision. He'd stop trying so hard. And here's what happened. A few people disappeared. But one person, Peter, an old friend from work, stayed. He checked in, showed up, invited John over for a simple Sunday lunch. That's how John realized. Friendship isn't about being surrounded by people. It's about being remembered when you go quiet. You don't need to juggle a crowd. You need space to breathe. 3. Boundaries are a gift. Why emotional safety comes from selectivity. You've lived through decades. You survived heartache, grief, loss, illness, and change. You've earned the right to choose who gets to walk beside you now. After 70, we no longer have to tolerate relationships that chip away at our well-being. Not every old friendship is meant to be lifelong. Sometimes, the people who were right for us at 40 are no longer aligned with who we are at 70. Eleanor had a friend since childhood. Let's call her Denise. Denise was sharp-tongued, sarcastic, and always made Eleanor feel small, especially around others. But Eleanor held on for years, thinking we'd go way back. I can't just cut her off. Then one day, after a lunch where she left feeling drained yet again, Eleanor asked herself, "What am I getting from this?" And she couldn't answer. She sent Denise a kind letter. She said thank you for the memories, for the years, but she was moving on. Now Eleanor spent her time with people who make her feel seen and safe. After 70, your peace is worth protecting. You are allowed to choose silence over drama, gentleness over conflict, support over sarcasm. For alone is not the same as lonely, the strength in solitude. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness and social engagement. But the truth is solitude, chosen solitude, is a sacred space for healing and self-connection. Michael, 78, lives alone in Perth, Australia. When his wife passed, he filled his days with distractions. Golf club, day trips, weekly pub nights. He was terrified of silence. But eventually, he burned out. He realized he wasn't grieving. He was running. So he paused. He started gardening. He took long walks, just him in the sky. He picked up sketching, something he hadn't done since his 20s. And slowly, he found something he didn't expect. He liked his own company. He told us, "I stopped being afraid of the quiet. Now I find answers in it." Being alone doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're brave enough to face your own presence. And sometimes, that's where the deepest peace lives. 5. One true friend can change everything. It's not about quantity. It's about the quality of presence, of trust, of shared silence, and shared truth. You don't need a crowd to feel supported. You need that one person you can call at 2 a.m., the one who remembers your birthday without a Facebook reminder, the one who knows what your silence means. Grace, 85, says her best friend is her neighbor's daughter, Ruby, who's in her 40s. They met by chance when Ruby brought soup over during flu season. Now they sit together twice a week. They read, share stories, bake. It's not the same age group, but it's the same soul-level connection. The best friendships are not always the ones you've had the longest. They're the ones that meet you where you are, right now. 6. You're never too old to meet someone new. The heart doesn't age the way the body does. It still longs to connect, to be heard, to be held in presence. Many older adults believe that if they haven't made a new friend by 70, it's too late. That's simply not true. Thomas, 82, lost his brother and started attending a small grief support group. That's where he met Alan. They discovered a shared love for poetry, and within months were trading books, writing letters, and walking together every Sunday. Thomas says, "It was the first time in years I felt understood." That connection didn't come from his past. It came from being open in the present. There's always time for a new chapter, a new friend, a new bond. But it starts with letting go of the belief that it's too late, because it isn't. So, if your social circle has grown smaller, don't mourn it. Celebrate it. You're not disappearing. You're distilling. You're letting go of the noise to make room for the meaningful. You're not lonely. You're choosing intentional peace. Now I'd love to hear from you. Has your experience with friendship changed after 70? Have you found deeper meaning in fewer relationships? Share your story in the comments. You never know who you'll encourage. And if this message resonated with you, please subscribe, and share. There are many others out there who need to know you don't need many friends to feel deeply connected. You only need the right ones. And maybe, just maybe, one of them is still waiting to meet you.